You know that feeling, right? When you've got something you're really excited about, but there's this little voice, or maybe a big one, holding you back.
Oh, absolutely. That hang on, it's not quite ready yet feeling.
Yeah. It feels like you're trying to get to the horizon, but it just keeps moving away. What's that really about?
Well, it's this fascinating internal tug of war, isn't it? This need for everything to be perfect right out of the gate.
But when wanting it perfect stops you from actually doing anything, that's the problem.
Exactly. And that's what we're really digging into today, why making progress, even, messy progress, is usually way better and honestly more fulfilling than just waiting for perfect.
Perfect might never even arrive.
Right. So for this, we looked at this great conversation between two people, Alex and Maya. They really get into it, sharing their own struggles with getting stuck and then breaking through.
And they bring in examples of others who just went for it. It's super grounded stuff, very relatable.
Yeah, no dense theory here. It's all about how this perfectionism thing plays out in real life. For creators, for anyone trying something new.
So if you've ever felt paralyzed because something wasn't perfect enough to launch or share, this deep dive is definitely for you.
Our goal really is to help shift that mindset, to see how you can just get started, learn as you go, and not be chained to this idea of a flawless beginning.
Because it really comes down to action versus getting stuck.
Yeah. We're all drawn to doing good work, obviously, but when good turns into must be absolutely perfect before I even try, that's when things grind to a halt.
Totally. And Alex and Maya, early on, they hit on something really key. They suggest that sometimes what we call perfectionism, it's actually fear wearing a disguise.
That's insightful. Fear of failing, fear of judgment.
Exactly. Fear of putting yourself out there all masked as, high standards.
It can be a very effective way to avoid the scary part, which is actually doing the thing. If you're always getting ready someday, well, someday never has to come.
It's like being stuck in endless prep mode, as Maya puts it. Always tweaking, planning, never launching.
Oh, yeah. Alex shared this story about wanting to start a blog.
Yes. Spent months agonizing over the design, the name, that perfect first post.
And the result?
No blog. Months passed, nothing happened. It just shows how focusing too much on the perfect entry point can lead to, nothing.
Total inertia. And Maya had a similar thing with YouTube, said she recorded her first video 20 times.
20? Can you imagine she was picking apart everything? Her voice, the lighting, the script. Felt like it was just awful.
Almost didn't upload it at all. That inner critic can be so loud, right?
Definitely. And think bigger. How many amazing ideas just wither away because someone decides they're not quite there yet?
It's a huge loss, potentially. And it's not just starting, either. This perfection thing can make you abandon projects halfway through.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, you get partway done, look at it, decide it's not matching this perfect image in your head, and you just scrap it. Start over. Again.
Constantly hitting reset.
Exactly. And you miss out on all the learning that comes from finishing something, even if it's flawed, and getting actual feedback.
Which leads to their big counter idea. Putting imperfect work out there is how you actually grow. Maya had this great analogy.
The race one.
Yeah, trying to run a race, but constantly stopping to fiddle with your shoes or whatever.
Yeah.
You lose all momentum.
And meanwhile, other people, maybe not even faster runners, are just running. They pass you because they kept moving.
That momentum piece feels really important. Each step, even a clumsy one, teaches you something. Perfectionism keeps you stuck at the starting line.
And they brought up Steve Jobs and early Apple. We think of Jobs as this ultimate perfectionist, right?
Right, do, yeah.
But Alex and Maya pointed out, those first Apple products, they weren't flawless. They were kind of buggy, a bit clunky even.
Right. The first Mac wasn't the super smooth experience we know now. But it was revolutionary because it got out there.
It generated buzz, feedback, it paved the way. And Maya asks this great what if. What if Jobs had waited for the absolutely perfect iPhone 1?
We'd probably still be waiting. Or using something much less advanced. It shows how launching and then iterating, that's what drives things forward.
So it makes you think, doesn't it? Where are you holding back, waiting for perfect?
Okay, so that's the problem. Perfectionism as a dream killer.
Yeah.
But what's the solution? They talk about messy action. I kind of love that phrase.
Me too. It's so freeing. It basically means just start. Start even when it's rough, even when you don't have it all figured out.
Like jumping in the pool before you're Michael Phelps.
Exactly. Maya's analogy. You might splash around a bit, maybe swallow some water,
Yeah.
but you'll learn to swim way faster in the water than just reading a book about it by the side.
And remember Maya's YouTube video? The one she recorded 20 times? When she finally did upload it, bracing for the worst.
People watched it. Some even liked it. She was shocked.
It shows that often our own standards are way harsher than anyone else's. People often connect with the realness, the imperfection.
Totally. And Alex pointed out, just by getting something out there, even if it's flawed, you're suddenly way ahead of most people still stuck in that perfecting stage.
It's not about being perfect first. It's about being present first, getting in the game.
Absolutely. You start getting real feedback, real interaction, instead of just guessing what people might want or think.
They shared a really cool story, too, about a guy named Ken Rogers. He was a landscaper.
Yeah, taught himself web development in the evenings. The amazing part is he didn't wait till he was some coding genius. He just started building things, applying what he learned bit by bit.
And he landed a developer job.
Exactly. He learned by doing, not by waiting for perfect knowledge. That hands-on, messy action built real skills.
Vaya really emphasized that point two, messy action means you learn from mistakes. You try something, it doesn't quite work, you go, okay, noted, how can I fix that?
It's that iterative cycle. Make, share, learn, adjust, repeat. Perfectionism tries to skip all the messy learning parts, but you can't really.
And Alex mentioned another huge benefit, confidence. Putting that first imperfect blog post out there, it felt like a win.
Yeah, it gave him the courage to keep going, even with the doubts.
That first step is often the hardest, right?
Yeah.
Breaking the inertia. Once you do, it's like, okay, I can do this. Makes the next step easier.
Definitely. And then the J.K. Rowling story they brought up, 12 rejections for Harry Potter. 12.
It's staggering. Most people might have given up after like 3.
But she kept going. She persisted despite that imperfect initial response. Imagine if she hadn't.
No Hogwarts. It really drives home the power of resilience, of not letting early bumps stop you.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What could you achieve if you weren't stopped by fear of those initial bumps?
Okay, so we get the problem. We see the alternative messy action. But how do we actually adopt that? Alex and Maya talked about mindset shifts.
Crucial stuff. The internal change is needed. Alex mentioned redefining good enough.
Right. He used to think it meant settling, being mediocre.
But now he sees it as good enough to start. It's giving yourself permission to begin, trusting you'll improve along the way.
That's a huge shift. It's not lowering your standards long term. It's just acknowledging that iteration 1 isn't iteration 10. It's a starting point.
Yeah. And Maya talked about something really deep. Detaching your self-worth from your work.
Oh, that's a big one for creative people. We pour ourselves into things, and if they're not perfect, we feel flawed.
Exactly. It's so important to remember your worth as a person is separate from how good your latest project is. The work is just a snapshot in time. You are enough. Full stop.
That takes practice, I think. And Alex brought up reframing failure, not as the end of the world, but as data.
Yeah, like his app crashing story. He said he learned more from fixing that unexpected crash than from anything else.
Failure is feedback. It stops being this terrifying monster and becomes information. Part of the process, not the opposite of success.
And Maya's other shift, focusing on the audience, the people you want to help, instead of worrying about critics.
Right. She realized her videos were for the people who needed the message, not for the nitpickers.
That takes the pressure off, doesn't it? If you're focused on serving others, perfect execution becomes less important than just showing up and offering value.
Like Ed Milet starting his podcast. No experience, maybe not the best gear initially, but a massive passion to help people.
And look at his success. People connected with the authenticity, the value, way more than they cared about perfect production.
So these shifts, good enough to start, separating self-worth, failure as data, focusing on audience norts, they clear the path for that messy action.
Yeah, they kind of dismantle the internal barriers that perfectionism builds up, freeing you to just move.
Okay, let's talk about inspiration. Alex and Maya shared some fantastic stories that really hammer this home. We mentioned Rowling.
Yeah.
Who else?
Sandeep Maheshwari really stood out. Huge YouTuber in India, his early stuff, super basic, just him talking, sharing his thoughts, no fancy production.
But millions connected with it.
Millions. Because it was raw, it was authentic, he just started sharing his truth, didn't wait for perfection. A powerful reminder that connection trumps polish often.
Totally. And then there's Elvis Chidera, the teenager in Nigeria.
Incredible story. Learned coding on his phone using free resources, didn't wait for a fancy laptop or a degree. He just built stuff. Imperfect stuff, probably.
And that practical, messy action got him a job at an MIT startup. That's pure resourcefulness, focusing on doing, not on having the perfect setup.
Mind-blowing, isn't it? And then, completely different vibe, Hannah Hart and My Drunk Kitchen.
Ah, yes. Her early videos were legendarily messy, shaky camera, bad lighting, slightly tipsy cooking.
But that was the appeal. That raw, unfiltered authenticity is what built her massive audience and launched her career. Like they joked, sometimes messier is better.
It makes you think, maybe the things we see as flaws are actually what make us relatable, human.
Exactly, the thread connecting all these stories. Action. Learning by doing. Growing through the process. They didn't wait for perfect, they just started.
They're regular people who chose progress over being stuck.
Which brings us to the big takeaway, the call to action from Alex and Maya's conversation. What do we do now?
And they're very direct about it. It's basically, publish something imperfect. Today.
Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, like right now, today. Take one small step out of that perfectionist paralysis.
They even gave examples, right? If you write, share a draft. If you code, push that slightly buggy thing to GitHub. Got a video idea? Just record and upload something.
The point isn't for it to be amazing. The point is for it to be out there. Your voice, your idea, even unfinished, has value. Don't hide it waiting for some mystical perfect moment.
And they tackle the fear head on. Bravery isn't not being scared. It's doing it anyway, despite the fear.
Like Alex pushing publish on that first shaky blog post. That act opened the door for everything else.
Even super small steps count. Send a tweet with an idea, sketch something rough, record a 30-second video talking about your project. Just break the pattern.
Yeah, they suggested setting a timer, even just 30 minutes. Make something. Then, the hard part. Release it. Don't fiddle, just let it go. Resisting that urge to perfect is the win.
And they encouraged sharing what you plan to publish, creating a sort of accountability, a community focused on progress, not perfection.
So wrapping this up, the core message is pretty clear, isn't it? There's incredible freedom and power in choosing action, choosing progress over chasing that impossible ghost of perfection.
Absolutely. It's about embracing learning through doing. So the real question for you listening right now is this. How would your life, or maybe just your current project, look different if you really embraced good enough to start?
And then building on that, what's one small, imperfect thing you could actually commit to doing, maybe even right after this deep dive?
We're genuinely excited for you, for the potential you unlock when you step out of the waiting room of perfectionism and into the arena of messy, wonderful action.
Go create something. The world needs your contribution, imperfections and all.